Hello there, welcome on my channel. My name is Irene and I have a brand new massive speed build video for you. Today I am creating my Medieval Church Sqaure. There's also going to be a cemetery and a monastery and a little area to sit on a bench under a tree with lights in it and everything. And yeah, it feels like a little bit of a small village, I think. And it's going to be massive. I've put so many hours into this. And over here I am starting on a 50 by 50 lot in Willow Creek. But it's not that long before I realized this lot was way too small. I am creating the half part of the church right now, and yeah, after creating that and I wanted to put a tower behind it, I realized this lot was way too small. So I moved the whole thing to the island in Windenburg. I built in the Windenburg world a lot. It's the world that was in the Get Together pack, and even only for that world. And if you like building in The Sims, I recommend you to buy that pack. There are so many amazing lots with a lot of space, and there are so many amazing build items. For builds like this, for medieval builds or for Tudor builds, you can use them for practically anything. But yeah, I've moved this whole build to the 64 by 64 lot on the island of Windenburg. Actually, just last week I saw a video from Devin Bumpkin. He creates amazing builds on YouTube. Oh, he's a little bit of an inspiration for me. And he was mentioning that we're ready as a Sims community for 100 by 100 lots. And I think he is so right. I like to build houses or builds or anything else. Anything that comes to mind. I like to build small houses. I like to build very big builds, very big castles. And yeah, I think it's time for bigger lots. This build fits perfectly on the 64 by 64 lot. But if it was any smaller, yeah, it just wouldn't fit. And with 100 by 100 lots, yeah, I could create so many different things, like total villages or worlds or cities or anything. I truly hope they will put very big lots into the game. Maybe 100 by 100 is a little step too far, but yeah, you know what I mean. But it's the same for the spiral staircases. It's not the first time I'm mentioning the spiral staircases. And if you're used to watching build videos on YouTube, it's probably not the first time you will hear someone say on YouTube that they want spiral staircases, but I really want them. The towers I just created at the back of the church, you can go in the bottom floor. But yeah, there wasn't really room for stairs in it, and I didn't want to place stairs at the outside of the build. So yeah, you just can go in the bottom floor and not go up on the tower, and that would be so amazing to do and so easy to do if we had spiral staircases. And in my mind, it's not that difficult, right, to create a spiral staircase in a game with so many items. But yeah, I could say that easily. I'm not very sure. And for this build, it's not that bad because I'm only creating the exterior of this massive build in this video. As I was saying, it took me so much time to build. And I think this video is already a little bit on the long side. I think 30 minutes is a little bit long. And when I wanted to create the whole interior too, I wanted to do it perfect. I wanted to create a perfect church and a perfect monastery, and I wanted to create some different Sims that will look like monks and everything. And when I wanted to put that all in this video would be at least 1 hour. So yeah, I'm just only building the exterior right now. But I think in the future I will be building the interior too, because I've had so much fun building this. I'm a big fan of fantasy movies and Game of Thrones, obviously. I'm in the middle of the last season of Game of Thrones. My whole life revolves around Game of Thrones right now. Every episode, I so bad want to talk about it, but I know I can't talk about it, but I'm in the middle of it, and I really wanted to build a build that would be fitting in a fantasy world. And I've just created my floating vampire castle, so I wouldn't want to create a castle right now or a palace or anything. And I actually never made a church before, so I thought it would be a good chance for me to build one. I am getting married in just 6 weeks, and because of that I was inspired to make a church. And at the start of this build, my plan was only to make a church, but that's just escalated quickly. So I've built a big church. I also saw an amazing looking Viking church. Oh, it looks so good. So maybe that will be a build in the future. I am not sure. If you have some requests for me to build, please let me know. When I'm watching other people on YouTube that are building houses, so many people are requesting a base game build. So if you want that, please let me know. Or something else like community lots or villages or parks. Just let me know. I'm open for everything. And the whole church has already taken his shape, and the monastery too. Right now I'm creating the first gate in front of the church, and later on I will create a new gate and a whole wall around the build or just in front of the build. When you look up the build on the gallery, it looks a little bit strange on the picture, because you can see the wall very big in front of the picture, and where it's all going about when what's the most important thing in the build, you can't see very good on the picture. So that's a little bit sad. But in the thumbnail and in this video, of course, you can see it very, very good. I thought it would be way easier or cooler when we could choose our own pictures for the gallery, but maybe it would be a little bit messy too. So as you can see, I totally forgot to mention that earlier. My plan was to mention it at the beginning of the video for people that are clicking out of the video or anything, but I'm mentioning it now. I know you don't write medieval as I'm writing it in the left corner of your screen. I don't know why I wrote it like that. I've made a medieval build before, my medieval Tudor home, and I know you write it with an A at the end. But in some kind of way, I got the evil thing in mind, I think. So I know I wrote it wrong. In the thumbnail and in the title, I wrote it in the correct way. So but I know I wrote it wrong. So you can mention that, but I know. So let's just go back to the build for a little bit. I actually cut a couple of times because it took me so much time to build, so much time to record it. And editing costs a lot of time, so what I'm doing now is recording when I'm building, of course, and when I have to think about anything or want to change anything up, I just quit the recording, stop the recording, and record again when I have my thinking time and everything. So I don't have to cut that much in the video when I'm editing, and it saves me a lot of time actually. And so maybe at some points you can see they're the different parts after each other. But I've watched this video a couple of times myself too, of course, to watch if it was a little bit smooth and everything. And yeah, I think it's not that bad. Right now I'm creating the gate around the whole build. As I was saying, it looked so strange on the gallery picture, but yeah, I think it was very fitting for this build. Right now I'm only building the exterior, as I was saying too, but you could totally use this build in your game if you've put a lot of beds in the monastery and really make a monastery out of it. And you can live there with all monks or nuns if you want. Yeah, I think that would be a very different way to play the game. So if you want, you can pull it off the gallery and download it and put it in your game. As you could see in the thumbnail, I'm not creating that right now, but there's a big gate in the whole wall at the front of the build. That is actually a smaller gate I used and sized up. And that's the second time I do that. I've done that before in a farmhouse build too, to make very big garage or shed-like doors. And yeah, I think it looks cool. You can see the object is sized up. It's the same when I size up cars for my builds. I think they look good, but yeah, you can see they're sized up. But just for this build, they look very good, I think. And yeah, the whole shape of the build is here already, and now the choosing of the colors of the walls and the stones and everything begins. And yeah, I've cut in this a lot because with the colors of the stones, the last video I've made was my Mediterranean sea villa. And yeah, for modern houses, you just use the Pure Expressions wallpaper or wall paint? Wallpaper, I think it is. And it's just white. You make all the walls white and yeah, go from that and change maybe a wall or two or the roof streams, of course, but that's it. But for this, I really wanted to use a lot of different textures and a lot of different stones and the different roofs, and yeah, to make it look very realistic, as far as this is a realistic build. So it took me so much time, but I think I've made the right choice with big stones. They look a little bit pink and I think it makes the whole thing, yeah, just a little bit softer. But it was a little bit of a process because I've had the pink thing in mind, and at first I used the pink paints and different tones and different greens, and I've put the whole church in that, and there wasn't any structure in it. It was the same structure as where I'm placing the big doors right now, or the big gate thing. And yeah, it looked good, but it was a little bit too Disney for me. And don't get me wrong, I love Disney. I love different Disney movies and Disney castles, and I've created Disney castles before, and yeah, I love it. But for this build, I had a different plan in mind, and yeah, it just didn't fit it very good. After that, I chose to use the color that's only on the left tower of the build right now. The dark gray with the green plants in it. And yeah, it's a very fitting stone color for this, because I really like the whole green moss thing on top of the stones. But when I've put the whole church in that color, it was just so dark, and I thought the whole structure of the church, you couldn't see it very good. So yeah, I erased everything of that too. And that's when I went with these stones. These stones are actually from the Jungle Adventure pack. It's strange to use a jungle pack in a church build, but yeah, it's, I think, for if you want to build ruins or anything. Maybe that's even the name of the wall color, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's the one I used. For the top of the front of the church, I will change the wallpaper up later. I will put it in the same color as the tops boven. I was saying a Dutch word, boven. I'm sorry. I think I'm getting a little bit better in my English because I'm speaking English a lot more now and I'm reading English books and I'm really, getting into it. And I think it's a lot of fun to do and a lot of fun to learn. But sometimes, because I'm just talking, I make mistakes in words and in grammar, of course. So I'm very sorry for that. I'm really working on it. I'm on YouTube now for 6 weeks, I think. So, please give me some time. I hope you will be kind. And I think my accent is getting a little bit less than it was before, but it's very obvious that I'm not English. I'm from Holland, so that's where my accent come from. But what I was saying is boven in Dutch, and boven is on top of or upstairs. I'm not even sure right now. It's such a normal word. It's not important for this build. But I was talking about the wallpaper I used on the little roofs on the entrance of the church, the one with the lines on it. It's from the Get Together pack. And later on I will put it at the top of the front of the church too, the one with the different short walls. I've never used the short walls method before to create a shape as I did now at the front of the church. But I think it looked very fitting for it. But it was very strange because the big window that's on the wall, it's good now. But I think I have to place it 5 or 6 times again because the wall was showing through the window. Oh yeah, you can see it over here. I've changed up the wallpaper and I think it looks so much better already. And I'm placing the pillars right now. And I think pillars change up the whole look of the build. It looks just so much better and not just like a plain wall. I also wanted to place pillars at the edges of the towers and it actually didn't work very well. So no, I didn't went with that. But at the end, I think it even wasn't that bad of a choice because if I also placed pillars all around the towers, it would be a lot of pillars. And I think it would be a little bit overkill. And there's already so much going on in this build right now. As you could just see, it's gone now. But as you can just see, I raised the pillars higher to make them fit on the wall better. I used the 9 key for that. I've said it before, but I've got an Instagram page on the SimStream too, and on YouTube too. I've got a lot of questions about the cheat codes I've used or how I've done special things. So that's why I'm just mentioning how I've done things. So to raise up items, you have to push the 9 key, and to lower them down again, you can just press the 0 key. But if you've got an item just at a normal height, you can't press the... you can press the 0 key, but nothing happens. It has a little bit of a ground level. And you can higher it, of course. And this over here now I am creating the towers. You can still see a little bit of yellow right now for when I was trying out different wallpapers. I've made this whole tower yellow at first. As I was saying, at first it was a little bit of Disney. And so I went with the amazing stones from the Dine Out pack. In this build I've used a lot of packs. I also get the question a lot about which packs I've used for certain builds. I think I have every pack in the game. No, that's not true. I don't have the pet stuff pack, But as I'm hearing around me, and the Sim Supply mentioned it a lot, it's not worth your money. So I didn't bought it anyway. And I think I don't got the bowling pack. And yeah, I think that's it. And especially in very big builds like this, I don't want to be restricted by using any packs and just using any packs and leaving out some packs. So that's why I used a lot of packs. I think there are 15 in total when I've loaded up this build to the gallery. So yeah, there's a lot. And as I was saying, if you want me to do a base game build, please let me know. There wouldn't be any problem. And yeah, I'm working on the monastery right now. I've had a difficult time to choose the color of the big tower at the right of the monastery. I thought this was a little bit too dark, but still I thought it fitted good for it. I've made a bridge so you can walk from the church to the monastery. I think in the real monasteries they're also attached to the church most of the times. I'm not sure, I never went to a monastery, but in my mind it was fitting, so that's why I've built it like that. And yeah, I think for now I've just said enough. I hope you will like the rest of this video. Obviously I will create the colors of the walls and do all the landscaping. I will do a small cemetery in it. I use the tombstones from the vampire pack. I think they are amazing. They're a little bit crooked, a little bit sunken in the earth, and yeah, I think they just look very good. At the front of the church I will make a little bit of a pattern with different tiles, and I've made a cross into it, and I've done the same thing for the stairs or the plateau under the gates. That's the small that you can see in the left corner of your screen right now. I've also made a small pond in it and a fountain and a lot of trees. So yeah, I hope you will stick around to see all my hard work. And of course, I also hope you will like this video. If you have some suggestions, please let me know. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do. I would appreciate it so much. And yeah, that's it for now. I hope you will have an amazing day, and I hope I will talk to you very soon. Goodbye.